Faction Guerrilla came out in 2009 with not much of an impact. It was unfortunately released during E3, so it ended up getting buried by the slew of announcements that came out of that convention. However, it must have done somewhat decently, because in 2018, THQ Nordic released Red Faction Guerilla Re-Mastered. Set 50 years after the climactic events of the original Red Faction Guerrilla allows players to take the role of an insurgent fighter with the newly re-established Red Faction movement as they battle for liberation from the oppressive Earth Defense Force. Red Faction Guerrilla still defines the limits of destruction-based gameplay with a huge open-world, fast-paced guerrilla-style combat and true physics-based destruction. I've only played the multiplayer part of Red Faction Guerrilla back in 2009 and never played the single-player campaign, so the majority of this game was entirely new to me. The story of Red Faction Guerrilla is nothing to write home about. You play as Alec Mason, who came to Mars to work with his brother, only to find out that his brother is part of a rebellion against the EDF. After about 5 minutes of gameplay, your brother gets killed and you get recruited into said rebellion. Now you're given a sledgehammer and tasked to take down EDF structures to help build morale of the civilians so you can take back Mars. That's pretty much the plot of the story, and like I said, it's nothing special. However, the meat and potatoes of Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mastered is its extremely fun destruction. Each structure in Red Faction is completely destructible and feels so good to swing your hammer at structural points and watch the building come crashing down. Unfortunately, the fun is always interrupted by a swarm of EDF soldiers that seem to spawn out of nowhere every time you start destroying one of their structures. When the soldiers start showing up, they don't seem to stop, which normally isn't a bad thing. You're fighting a rebellion after all, but still can get quite annoying. The shooting makes this slightly annoying because it feels a bit off. Aiming feels imprecise at times and even a bit awkward. However, you do get a very nice selection of weapons to choose from the mundane weapons like shotguns, assault rifles and pistols to the futuristic and absurd weapons like nano rifles, gas rifles and the Reconstructor. You'll have plenty of options on how you want to wipe out your enemies. My favourite of these is the singularity bombs, which create mini black holes. Just like the shooting in Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, the driving is also not the best. The vehicles felt too cumbersome while feeling weightless at the same time. It didn't really matter what type of vehicle you jumped in, they all felt very similar to Control. I found myself usually sprinting through most of the game unless I had to go a really long distance to my next objective. Since this is a remaster, you're probably wondering how does it look compared to the original Red Faction Guerrilla. Well, I can tell you that it runs at a smooth 60 frames with it only dropping just a bit when the action gets really hectic. Graphics have definitely seen an improvement with improved lighting, shades and textures. While it may not look like a 2018 game, it still looks and runs well. Now onto the multiplayer. There are a nice variety of multiplayer games in Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. 7 in fact, including Anarchy, which is a free-for-all style deathmatch. Team Anarchy, capture the flag, siege where you attack and defend key structures, damage control where teams fight for control over 3 targets, and demolition where one person plays the destroyer and the others are his protectors whilst he tries to destroy as many things as possible. All these multiplayer maps add a ton of fun and variety to an already entertaining game and will hopefully keep you playing many hours after you have beaten the campaign. Is Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered worth buying? I would say definitely. Even though the story is fairly bland, the gameplay alone makes this worth owning even if you just want to jump in for a few hours and wreck some stuff. It is worth it, and I can see myself coming back to it for the next few months, maybe even longer, thanks to the robust amount of multiplayer games. Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered is available now on PS4, Xbox One and Steam.